Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance channel. You guessed it, it's time for a shop tour. Here we are in our first week of May, May 2nd. And the weather is beautiful, couldn't be nicer. We are getting some rain finally, which is nice, but you know, it's like 50s at night, 70s during the day. It's pretty darn good. So we've had a little bit of rain, which we've needed. But yeah, really nice day today after we had a little storm roll through. So I want to start with a quick race report from the Midi that I went to last weekend. You guys saw the pictures of the Nissan that Greg Iyer had me come in and drive. So I flew to Atlanta, got in a rental car, drove up to Atlanta, to Road Atlanta. What a cool car. So this car is like brand new. You could eat off of this thing inside and out, underneath. Everything was just beautiful. And so, you know, you never know what you're getting into when you're just jumping into a race car. But the car really performed well. So to kind of give you an idea of the speed of this car, so this car is based on a GTU IMSA car from the mid to late 80s. So the car, I think in the very first session, I did almost the same lap time as my lap record in the BMW Z3, the e-production car, and ended up 2 seconds faster than the Z3's lap record at Road Atlanta. So the car's fast. Nice Jericho 4-speed transmission, left foot brake, ding, 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 going through the gears. I do have some in-car video that we're going to try and put together, and so you can see kind of how the car performs. The camera that we were using didn't get great audio. I don't know if it's picking up the whine of the transmission or the differential, but anyway, you'll see what I'm talking about when you get to see the in-car video. So we're going to get that rolling soon. But a really fun weekend. Tons of cool vintage cars. You'll see some of those in the video. Yeah, all sorts of cool stuff. You know, the Mazda Le Mans car was there. Tom Long was driving the 1991 four-rotor RX-7. Really cool car. So I got to talk to him a little bit too. So good weekend. Thanks. Shout out to Greg. Thank you for allowing me to drive the car over the weekend. But Greg's also getting a second shout out because he introduced me to the Sure Shot. What is a Sure Shot? It is nothing but a simple can that you can put pressure on. You fill it up with some fluid and you put shot pressure on it, like 120 pounds, and all of a sudden you've got yourself, check this out, I'm just going to spray a little bit right here. You got yourself a little brake cleaner. So he's telling me about this, and he's like, you get these things, you can buy them anywhere. You fill them up with brake clean and you pressurize them, and they last like forever. Look how much brake clean's in this thing. So I bought a 5-gallon drum of brake clean. Never thought I would do that, but I started doing the math on this. So I've been buying these brake parts clean. I mean, everybody does, right? Everybody's got these in their shop. These are about anywhere between $4 and $5 a piece, and they're 14 ounces, right? I did the math on this. I've got my cheat sheet right here. There's 45 of those cans in this bucket, which is about $250 worth of brake clean. So I've got $250 worth of brake clean, and I got this for $100, and I got each one of these for $50 a piece. So for $200, I've got a huge supply of brake clean, and I can refill these forever. And after, you know, I'm still under what 45 of those cans would cost. Anyway, Greg, thanks for the idea here that I'm actually really digging. You can just barely squeeze them and get a little, or you can really give it the juice and get that going. So I've got one for the shop, and I'm going to put one in the race trailer. The other thing Greg did is he gave me this nice poster, and he signed it right here at the top. It says, "To my favorite national champion." What a suck up. Thanks for the poster, Greg. I'm going to put it up on my wall of fame over by the front door. So always nice to get stuff like that for the shop. So, okay, let's get into the shop tour. Doug Weaver's car is still sitting up here, mainly because I've been gone, and all we really have left is corner weight and a line and dyno, and I've still got a couple weeks till he's coming, so we're looking good there. I'm going to give another shout out to Brett at Fusion Works Fabrication, who is currently doing the modifications and adaptions to these bell housings. So this is Stevens EGMT bell housing. These come with the rotary, setup for a rotary, and then he does the modification so that we can adapt this to a Miata. So beautiful welding, nice job. He's been doing a great job on these for me. You guys probably know this already, but a lot of the things that I do in the shop, I don't do everything, right? Like, I don't need to be the lead engineer, fabricator, welder, engine builder, chassis guy. I mean, I do a lot of that, but to be able to work with guys that know what they're doing and specialize in things is very important. So he did a beautiful job on this. We just need to install the new input shaft and get that back on the transmission, and then some assembly required, right? So I got to get Steven's carp on the lift and get ripping and tearing on that project. So we're looking pretty good there. So a little bit of interesting news. The T4 car is leaving tomorrow. It's sold. It's gone. This will be the last time you see it. Although I'm going to replace it with something that I'll show you probably next week. So we'll talk about that then. Ken's car is just sitting here. However, we actually had a big list of things to order for our new program. So I've got everything ordered that I need to kind of get things rolling. We're going to be shipping out the transmissions. The guy that wanted the trannies didn't want them until the 1st of next week. So I'll get the transmissions sent out on Friday and wait for some parts to come in, and we'll get to rocking and rolling on that. In the meantime, you can see I've torn into Eric's car. So engine is out, getting ready to pull the transmission out as well, because this is just a stock transmission, and we're going to be putting in a close ratio Quaife transmission. So that'll be going in, so I need to yank that out too. But one of the big things that he'd been having trouble with was fuel. He put in a new fuel pump, and he wasn't getting any pressure, and he couldn't figure it out, couldn't figure it out. Eric, I finally figured it out. It took me a couple hours. I ended up actually pulling the entire system out of the fuel cell. So it's kind of interesting to see, right? So this is one of these boxes, and it's got these one-way balls. So it keeps fuel in the box, comes up to the lid, comes out of here, goes through the filter, out of the filter into the pump, and then forward. Well, I mean, I could not get suction out of the cell, and I started putting everything together and finally found it. So it's a little bit mangled now, but check out the condition of this AeroQuip line. I mean, I had to kind of mangle it to get it out of the fittings. Here's what they're supposed to look like, right? Nice and pretty. So when I was testing the suction before it kind of looked like this, I realized that there was a split in the hose. It actually just fell out when I went to separate it. So it actually, because it was kinked, you can see that it was pinched down a bit, and also was just sucking air from this hose. So there you go. That was the hose between the filter and the pump. So I'm going to replace this, get everything cleaned up. We're going to be looking good. So in the meantime, engine's out and apart, in total process on getting that engine rebuilt. You can see I've got a lot of his bits and pieces laying here. We're going to do some upgrades on the intake system, and we're going to get the headers. The headers are out to get ceramic coated, so we're looking good on that. So Steven's car's just sitting here for now, but we're going to be kicking it into gear. So probably going to finish up Doug Weaver's car so I can get it off the lift and get Steven's over there, because that's really the place where I want to work on it. So Mazda 2 update. So we've got about a month until the Ozarks, and one of the things that I noticed when I was at Hallett, if you'll come close here, you'll see down inside here there is a rubber hose for the clutch right here. And when I was bleeding the clutch out, just putting pressure with your foot on the master coming down to the slave, that hose was going. You really don't want rubber hoses in your race car. So it's kind of tricky. So one of the things about this Mazda 2 is there's not a ton of performance parts out there. So, but I actually found a place that is making stainless, Teflon lined hose. So I've got one of those coming. And as it turns out, the rear brakes actually have rubber hoses too. So I know I've talked about this, but as I keep whittling through this car, I'm finding all these little things to make it better. Of course, in the meantime, I've got it up in the air. We're going to get the fluids changed, get the tires off, got a new set of tires for Ozarks. And then after that, we're going to be in full tilt boogie mode for the June sprints. So hoping, I have not seen my transmission gears yet. Fingers are crossed that I'm going to get those, but we're getting closer. Anyway, kind of a busy week. Like I said, really good time at the Midi last weekend at Road Atlanta. We had great weather. We're going to get some in-car video up for you guys so you can check that out. And yeah, appreciate you guys watching as always. So have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week. Take care.